Hello there, boys and ghouls. You know who I am, ETTemplar, Supreme Misfit, Professional Dipshit, and we're reacting to Mark Levin crashing out over the recent peace deal. Now, of course, by now, as of covering this and talking about it, it's probably been blown up anyway. Pardon the pun. But here we go. Let us see Mark Levin crashing out, and we're going to react to, and we're going to give our criticism to this too. So take it away.
I'm going to start the program where I'd rather not start, but I must.
Oh, you know, it's serious when he takes off his fucking glasses. You know, that's when we're about to get some real shit. Power move.
I want to say to people in and out of the administration, stop trashing, smearing, bullying the little state of Israel.
Who the fuck are you? Last time I checked, as you know, again, there's no now-hide laws yet that prohibit the criticism of Israel or Judaism. But as of current time, as of 1:05 p.m., 6/23/2026, we have freedom of speech, and we can smear and besmirch and hate on whoever I want. That's covered by the freedom of fucking speech. Like, I don't know where Mark Levin and these other people get off on saying, oh, you better watch what you say, buddy. Like, fuck you. I'm pretty sure our country was founded on freedom of speech. And regardless, if you don't like people hating on other people, we have this freedom of speech to do so. And hate speech technically is covered by freedom of speech. So if you don't like it, you can always fuck off back to Israel, Mark Levin. You can fuck off to a country that is, yeah, anyways.
Stop cozying up to and telling us.
No one's cozying up to Iran. They come up with the peace deal because the strait keeps getting open and closed. They came up with the peace deal because people are tired of watching people get blown up. You know, and the thing that's really retarded about all this, too, pardon the expression, is that we, the Americans, are paying $400 billion to rebuild it. That's total, after we also bombed it. Bombing Iran is also covered now. So we're footing around $400 billion to rebuild it. So Witkoff and Kushner can rebuild it with their companies and rebuilding companies, so they can line their pockets. But again, it's not cozying up to Iran. It's a peace deal, so we can continue to get cheaper gas and products out of that region. And as shitty and as, you know, messed up that is, it needs to be done, because the Americans generally are hurting at the gas pump. We're hurting everywhere else because oil and like natural gas is needed in everyday products to ship, to produce, to manufacture. And that's around the world. So a lot of people are hurting. And it's just, unfortunately, like, the people of Iran hasn't resisted against and overthrown their government yet, which I think is probably just a CIA psyop at this point. I don't think there's any legitimate Iranian resistance except the people who are paid to push that narrative. Of course, they say there's 50,000 people that's been killed, but, you know, can we really believe that story at this point? Can we even trust any news source these days? I don't think so. Maybe there's been a lot of people killed, but, and he'll bring this up too.
That the enemy regime in Iran is now more rational, more moderate, and a regime that we can deal with.
Yeah, it seems so. Unlike the nation-state Israel that's bombing. I'd like to take a quick little detour here and read something for you guys. So, damage to Christian sites and casualties. There are documented cases of damage. Churches and sites strikes hit the St. Melchite Catholic Church in Derigia, killing civilians sheltering there. Damage in Yerhoun convent school, statues of Jesuit saints in Debel and Deir Mas. Soldiers vandalized with sledgehammers. IDF investigated. Soldiers and Netanyahu commended it. And other heritage sites. Civilian deaths, strikes on Christian majority towns in Aitu, Alam El Shab, Kalia, priest killed, and others. Some villages saw heavy destruction or evacuation orders. Post-ceasefire returns. Christian villagers report destroyed homes, churches, and religious symbols. Amnesty International and other documented broad destruction in the south, including religious buildings, mostly mosques in Shia areas, but churches as well. So, Iran hasn't been targeting and bombing Christians. You know who has been? Israel, our greatest ally, the people who say Judeo-Christianity. So if you want to ignore that fact, you can. Because the strange thing about this is when I bring this topic up to the Judeo-Christian types, or the Christian, like the Zionist Christian types, they don't say a fucking word. No one, like, Christians are being killed and persecuted, and no one seems like they pretend like I didn't say anything, which is kind of a weird conundrum. So that's horseshit, regardless of who you are. And yeah, in Iran, sure, are they a shitty rogue nation state that's been involved in underhanded business against us in the Iraq War, Desert Storm 2 and whatnot? Sure. But have they been directly, indiscriminately bombing civilian, like, towns and stuff that hit Christian civilians? We haven't really heard that as much. But I'm sure there's, way.
When just a few months ago they slaughtered 50,000 people, they're still hanging young people today.
Don't pretend like you give a shit about the Iranian people. Because we all know that for Mark Levin here, anyone who's not Jewish is a Malachite, is a goyim, a subhuman animal, right? So him coming out here saying like he cares about 50,000 Iranians, he doesn't care. Same thing why he hasn't mentioned the collateral damage on Christian churches and Christian people, right? They don't mention it because they don't need to, and Christians aren't technically human in their eyes. Anyone outside of their Judaic faith or Judaic like ethnicity aren't we're all subhuman savages to them. That's more or less so for radical Islamists as well.
And if they had a nuclear missile today, they'd fire it into our country as sure as I'm alive.
That's debatable at best, but I'll let them have it.
I don't know what's going on, but if people think they can bully a little country, and really a people that have existed 4,000 years.
3,000 years, but okay.
Through the Babylonians and the Persians.
The Persians actually had they allowed Jewish territory in their empire. Ahasuerus himself had allowed for Jewish-controlled cities and areas. So he says Persia, but Persia has been pretty open-minded towards Judaism, even biblically.
Through the Romans and the Third Reich, into surrendering their defense and their decision on how to secure their country.
No one's asking Israel to surrender its defense or national statehood. This peace deal's to kind of cease the damage, not only in Iran, but to America economically. No one here, again, this is the kind of like purge propaganda paranoia shit he's pushing here, because he's stating that anyone who's for this peace deal is for the disarmament and removal of Israel's defense and nationality. No one is saying that. Of course, but they have to push that. They have to say that because, of course, if you criticize, Israel or the state of Israel or Judaism, all of a sudden you're a big anti-Semite and you're pro-Iranian terrorist now all of a sudden. So he has to. Mark Levin's job is pretty tough. He has to try and scare mostly boomers, because not a lot of people my age, millennials and younger, are buying this horseshit anymore. And you can't always be permanent victim while also being the permanent aggressor. And so we're not buying that like bullshit anymore.
Got another thing coming.
Oh, we got another thing coming. Is that a threat? Wow. Okay.
I think it's outrageous.
What's outrageous is you threatening Americans and people who have differing political opinions on diplomacy in the Middle East. That's fucking outrageous, Mark Levin.
When we used to see the Secretary of War and the head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff daily here on Fox tell us of the fantastic marriage, symmetry between our militaries in defeating this enemy.
Which hasn't been defeated. The only thing he did is blow some shit up in their country. Haven't really done a whole lot. Let's be honest. Yeah, on TV it looks fine and amazing that we're doing all this damage, but in reality, Iran has us, the United States, and the world by the balls. economically and through that Strait of Hormuz.
I'm really appalled by this.
No one gives a shit if you're appalled.
And I hope it comes to an end sooner than later. Because it's not right, it's not just, and it's not truthful.
What's not right and what's not just is you fucking threatening a veiled threat of violence against the United States. So we have one more clip here. Let me cue it up. Let me find this. Also, this other clip where we have just more fear-mongering going on about this peace deal. Because why not, right?
Well, Sean, as we sit here right now
let me just play the audio.
California.
This is Ted Cruze, by the way, Senator Ted Cruze.
Well, Sean, as we sit here right now tonight, the threat of terrorist attack is higher now than it has been in decades. And there are two causes of it. Number one, we had 4 years under Joe Biden of open borders.
Okay, so it's been 4 years. Why haven't we seen a massive Iranian attack in those 4 years? And why haven't we seen a massive Iranian attack from Obama during his presidency? So that's, again, this more fear-mongering bullshit that they're trying to do. Oh, Iran. Yeah, hey, Americans, you got to keep bombing them Iranians, because if we don't bomb them over here, they'll bomb us here, right? And of course, if you look at probably Senator Ted Cruze and all these other fucking politicians, whether they're right or left, you will see that they probably have investments, again, in Raytheon, Boeing, Lockheed Martin, these war industries that build and make the vehicles possible to drop the bombs. And of course, the senators insider trade before the Strait of Hormuz opens and closes. And they also have, they short and long oil. So as long as there's conflict in the Middle East, someone's making fucking money. And this is where the truth comes out. It's not about the freedom of the Iranian people. It's not about liberating the Iranian people. It's about making money. And the sooner you realize as an average Joe that all this Iranian shit, Middle East shit is about fucking making money, that's where it comes in a clear view. Generally, no one cares about the Iranian plight. But those are just talking points to continue the war and to continue war profiteering and to continue so they can keep short in fucking oil stocks. As someone who's invested in the market, I've withdrawn from the oil market because it's so volatile that it gets shorted so much that, I lost a good section of my investments because of these assholes that want to continue this war and continue violence in the Middle East because it makes them richer. It has nothing to do about democracy, progress, or bringing liberation. I don't believe it for a second that Ted Cruze, Mark Levin, Ben Shapiro, or even Netanyahu gives two fucks about the Iranian plight for liberation.
Had 12 million people flood across the border, basically an open...
12 million people. You notice he said people, right? So that's 12 million, which my guess is probably mostly Latin Americans, Mexicans, Colombians, Panamanians, Salvadorians, Hondurans. It's probably mostly that Venezuelans. But you see how he mentioned, 12 million, trying to imply that 12 million jihadis have come across. Now, maybe 1% of that, maybe, and that's still too much if you ask me. But again, here we have Ted Cruze using this kind of purge style of psyop language and lingo, and how he's trying to suggest that all 12 million are these he's painting this image of 12 million Iranian jihadis coming across, right?
Open invitation to every terrorist, every Hamas and Hezbollah and IRGC terrorist, come to America.
Which is funny because the current leader in Syria has... I don't give a fuck his name is because he's a terrorist piece of shit. He's worked with Al-Shabaab, Jaish al-Islam, ISIS even. So the literal head of Syria right now has been and was an active fucking terrorist. So while Ted Cruze is over here moral fagging about Iranian terrorists coming through the border, he's a part of the government that allowed and set up for a literal fucking terrorist, Al-Shabaab, pro-Sharia law leader come to power in Syria and dethrone Bashar al-Assad. So that's one thing you have to keep in mind too, that these people are also responsible for the problems they're making so they can fix it and make, line their pockets with fix. So that's Ted Cruze again. I don't know how Ted Cruze keeps getting elected because he's certainly sure shit not Texas first. But that's the current situation, and the current political situation we're in is that it's all bullshit. It's it's they can say they care, about this and that or the safety of the American people. But at the end of the day, Christians are being killed. There's Christian holy sites being bombed. There was even a Templar castle that got bombed by the IDF. So they're committing literal war crimes on that scale. But again, we can't say that because we don't want to be called anti-Semitic and Nazi. So let me walk that one back because we're on this platform, YouTube, allegedly. But yeah, that's the situation. Is Christians are being killed en masse and being victimized also by the Israelis. But for whatever reason, everyone, boomers, including people, Fox News, everyone, is turning a blind eye to literal Christians being killed and persecuted. But because there's terrorists near them or within their same nation state, it's okay to fucking annihilate them and turn them into goop or ash just because their country can't really maintain the terrorist shitheads in their country. Another reason why Lebanon can't really put a lid on it is because it's such a small country. Imagine being inside an elevator with about 8 different ethnicities. If a knife fight breaks out in an elevator, you have limited space where there's going to be mass casualties. Lebanon has already been through 2 civil wars. Okay, and that's like building to building, floor by floor combat, murder, and religious secular violence. And I don't think, and that's why Lebanon and the Lebanese forces can't really, their hands are tied, because again, it's like being in an enclosed space and everyone has knives. And as soon as someone draws a knife, it's fought. But that's the state of the world we're in. And we'll wrap this up by saying Israel can do no wrong. They're God's chosen people. So if they want to kill and blow up Christians, I guess that's A-okay for some of these Zionist Christian types. I guess it ends with the old phrase, God shall know his own, and there will be martyrs for their faith. And I guess we're supposed to just be cool with that. But hey, whatever. So that's the state. That's Mark Levin. So here's a synopsis. The American taxpayer is a anti-Semite, pro-Iranian regime, even though every year, every president has been funding and supporting the defense of Israel, and somehow we're the big evil baddies because we're also funded to bomb Iran. Now we're funding to rebuild it. And somehow we, the American people, are the problem when also our tax money pays to keep quiet sexual assault and rape victims by the hands of senators and congressmen. Oh, yes, we pay that too, baby. So, to make a point here, somehow it's the American people. We can't question. The only thing we should be doing is forking out money. We should just be throwing out bills and shut the fuck up. And that's the point where a lot of people these days are giving up on politics. A lot of people, I'm going to be surprised. You're going to have lower voter turnout in the midterms than you've ever seen before, because a lot of people are losing faith. I know for myself, I used to be a staunch Republican since the age of 18, but let me get my fucking pocket change here. They don't represent us. We've been fed a lie of this democratic republic, and what do we get for it? Huh? Look around. Look in your local town and neighborhood. Do you see crumbling infrastructure? Do you see crime and violence on a daily basis? Do you turn on the news and see a peaceful golden age, right? The golden age of America. Are you seeing that? Because I'm not. Is something wrong with me? Am I living in a delusion, or is the rest of everyone else living the same delusion? At the end of the day, it's just amazing to me the strict hypocrisy of not only Mark Levin and Ted Cruze and Ben Shapiro, but we can't even voice our opinion on the shit we're funding. Is the vibe I'm getting. And quite frankly, I think they all should, we can't say that. So I'll leave that in the Pandora's box. But to wrap this up, yeah, it's horseshit. It's amazing how we complain about foreign influence of Russia and other countries when there's literally one country that has bought off over like 100 to 200 sitting senators in our Congress and House. That should concern anybody. APAC, funds a lot of these campaigns, and that's foreign influence. And the guy who runs Turning Point USA is registered as a foreign agent to Israel. But again, like I said, we have to totally forget what we've been taught and raised to believe, because apparently just because a group of people say they're God's chosen, that means they're free from any criticism, violence, genocide, or any other underhanded things, because apparently that's what Jesus would want. I don't know what kind of Bible you guys read, but okay. Gotcha.
Money! We gotta make some money!
The sky whispers.